Welcome back to Online Marketing TV. We're here with Gillian Muessig. Gillian, welcome.
Welcome, thanks.
So talk to us. Who is this woman, Gillian, SEO mom? What's the background?
Right.
Give us the quick Gillian story, if you will.
I am literally and figuratively SEO mom. I'm Rand Fishkin's mother. I'm also Evan Fishkin's mom. He's the head of R&D now at Slingshot SEO, so he's a practitioner, and SEOmoz is the now world's largest manufacturer of search marketing software.
Very cool. So what's the story? How did you and your son get into this whole business of SEO?
I opened a company in 1981 because I was glorified unemployed. I was a consultant. But by the time you're saying bye-bye on the telephone, you need to talk to something that's more than 2 years old.
Right.
So I opened a company, and I also figured if I had these kids, well, the heck with it, you might as well be with them. So I packed those kids with me, and I raised them under my desk. The youngest will tell you the color of the blanket he slept on. So I'm talking literally. Rand joined the company in 1997. As the kids grew, the company grew a bit, but it was a traditional marketing company. So a lot of print media, a very small company. You don't do a lot of TV or radio when you do that.
Yep.
But I was fortunate to become involved with MarketLink International. It was the first international commerce center on the World Wide Web in 1993.
Wow,
we were
way
so
back
full
then,
of ourselves.
Yes.
we scanned business cards in full color, and we bought them there on that fresh new web. It was a lot of fun. I spent a lot of money. I didn't make any money on that one, but I got involved early, and that was great, and I was really smitten by the web, so I stayed there.
Love it. Goes to show, just a little side point, is that you make the mistakes early and fast, and then you get to the success. You don't always make money just because you spend money, and I love that.
That's right. I've spent an awful lot before I made any money.
Happens to all of us,
there
right?
were lots of mistakes, and some of those mistakes perhaps because it was family, where I had faith in the kid, and I didn't want to shut him down, and I knew sooner or later he'd have a really good idea.
That's good.
So that's okay too. In '97 he joined the company. We started by making websites. It was kind of the old book game. Buddy, want to buy a book? Well, buddy, want to buy a website? Buddy, want to buy a better one? We've got Flash now, right? And then it was the search engine showed up, and it became evident that that's the way the pages of the web would be put together.
Right.
So now buddy want to buy a different website because Flash doesn't get read. So we went through all of that.
Yep.
But in 2001, when the dot-com bust happened, basically nobody wanted to buy a website for love or money.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
true.
looked at e-commerce work, and people said, well, I don't have capital expenditure, but I have operating budget. You bring me $1, I'll give you a corner off the dollar. So that meant that we designed, authored, developed, marketed, managed, maintained, and deployed these websites for nothing. If they made $1, we would make $1, right? We could take a corner off that dollar.
Right.
That's fine, but it had to be found on the web. That wasn't work that we did. So no problem, you pull out the credit card with money you don't have and you farm that out again, right? We farmed it out 4 times to companies that could not do it. And that's what caused Rand to finally learn it. And he learned it extremely well, as you
Obviously,
know.
right.
We became very well-known consultants, actually, and it was difficult to shut down the consulting because that had become quite lucrative.
Yep.
But it was evident that software was the way to go. We wanted to build a smaller company with a recurring revenue stream rather than expanding through people.
Yep.
If you're a consultant, you must only expand through people.
Yep.
So we turned to that, shut down consulting. We haven't done that for about 5 years now.
Love it. And now you are the premier software vendor in SEO.
That's right.
And
Rand is the technologist, he is the CEO, and I'm put out to pasture. My job is corporate evangelism. My job is to make sure the world says SEOmoz instead of SEO.
What better thing than to pass the torch to one of your own children, right?
That's true. I always say that's my best tip in business. You raise your CEO first.
Right.
You know the metal of what you have.
And the legacy continues, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I think the story is so great from so many angles, from you guys listening to the market, following the market, not trying to create a market, and determine what the market needs and build product and service around that. And then just allowing some of the entrepreneurial spirit to ingrain in how you made money. For all of those people that have their own consultancies or small agencies, I think it's just such a smart thing to say, hey, let's not force feed what we think we are today, but let's execute on what we know and keep learning what our customers want and allow us to evolve. Because I think with so many changes even now, from social to mobile to geo-local and everything else, much more room to grow into for every one of those folks.
This is a very new industry. Remember, it didn't exist before the search engines existed.
That's
so
right.
that's really less than 20 years ago.
Yep.
As a result, we're still building an industry. We're not building companies that are competitive landscapes yet.
Yep.
It's an extraordinary place to be. We're very fortunate to be here, all of us, in search. Search is becoming much more than just SEO, as you know. Many of your other speakers here have talked about that. Inbound marketing is a new name for it, or earned media marketing. All of these language pieces around it say it's a larger landscape, and as it becomes larger, even more companies have a space to play. So I would agree with you on that. I know that there are visionaries in this world, like Steve Jobs, for example, who would never think about looking at the marketplace and saying, where do we go next? He did not listen to the marketplace. He told the marketplace what it needed, what it wanted, and what it couldn't live without, right? And so we all stand online for things like iPhones and so on. I mean, extraordinary stuff, right? But he knew. There are very few such visionaries who really know in advance of what the world knows what it wants and so on. So I would suggest, you're right, that most of us should be looking at the marketplace, finding those holes and niches right now. And if we can't see quite so deeply into the veil as somebody like Steve Jobs could, surely there's a huge amount of stuff that we can fill today. So innovation is the way to go, expansion is the way to go, leveraging into new countries and into new languages is a great way to go, and of course all these new tools and toys.
Well, it's an insatiable market. We're kind of in that big bang space where it's not a matter of finite market share, because it's growing so fast, and if everybody can just keep playing in that game, I think there's a lot more to be done there. Talk to me about what you see as to be some of the game-changing tactics that are really separating those that are doing SEO, for example, well, versus those that are just doing it okay. Kind of the Jim Collins good to great. What are some of the great things that people are leveraging to take that competitive edge to the next level?
Okay. I would say that I think the focus is on a broader discussion, a deeper discussion about what it is that drives marketing itself. And I covered some of that today in this concept of brand communities. When the personal values meet the corporate marketplace, and there is no schism between the two, right? You build communities around a brand that goes beyond liking Coca-Cola or enjoying that product. It's a community that speaks among themselves about you. So communities are not very interesting, or social media groups are not very interesting if you speak to them. It's also not very interesting if they're speaking back to you. When they start talking to each other, not just about you, about life itself, right? Then you have a community that is just unstoppable.
There you go. The secret, I hear you say, is when you can facilitate the conversation amongst people, not between the organization and those people, you've really got a community of which you can capture so much more gain in market share.
When you become the platform on which the conversation happens, that's when you win.
A la Facebook and some of what you guys are doing on SEOmoz for sure, right?
Absolutely, regardless of the platform that you're using, whether it's LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, your own websites and so on, it's your brand that is essentially hosting the conversation. When people come towards you in order to make that conversation happen, that's when you win.
Cool, great piece of advice. Thanks for joining us. We'll
Thank
hopefully
you.
have you back soon. Thanks, Gillian.